Join me and Shane Murphy, the anxiety expert, in part 1 of this 2-part episode. Shane has over a decade's worth of therapeutic experience, and we dive into the complexities of anxiety, men's mental health, and dealing with feelings and emotions. Shane opens up about his personal journey from struggling with anxiety for over 20 years to becoming an expert in the field. We explore the importance of living in the present, the difference between feelings and emotions, and the impact social media has on our mental health. Shane also talks about authenticity in therapy and challenges the societal norms around masculinity, highlighting why men need to express their feelings and embrace self-love. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a rating and follow. It really helps the show grow and reach more people we can help. And if you want to be a legend, you can also buy me a coffee. The link's in the description. No pressure. Well, maybe a little. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, enough begging. This is TOMU, the open mic, unfiltered. Let's get fucking into it. Hello, Shane. How you doing?
I'm good, Cameron. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bad. Could you share what you do as an anxiety expert?
So I suppose a little bit of background is that I was 40 before I went back to college to become a psychotherapist. Previous to that, I struggled with anxiety for 22 years of my life. And I just decided that there has to be a way that I can help clients in a different way compared to your traditional therapy with anxiety. So I made it my purpose to actually help free people from anxiety, not learn to live with it, to actually have no anxiety and be free from anxiety. My style of therapy is I'm a present tense therapist. I only work with the present tense because the only place the anxiety lives is in the now. So it's about helping people with their feelings and emotions in the present tense. I'm not saying that traumas don't organically come up, but if they organically come up, they only come up and they only stay in the present. So that's probably a short version of what I do inside in a session.
Yeah. Are you a firm believer of anxiety can be eradicated? It can completely leave you?
Yeah.
Okay. And has it worked for yourself? Did you implement your sort of steps on you?
I am anxiety free.
Okay. How does it feel?
It feels fantastic. Yeah. Do you know, doing something like this when I had anxiety, I couldn't do it. I couldn't, like the thought of coming on, worrying about what people would think of me, worrying that am I dressed the right way and what people would perceive me, and what if I say the wrong thing, and if I say the wrong thing, how are people going to think about me and all that. Whereas now I operate from the present tense. I live only in the present tense for myself in my life. So when I speak from the present tense. So there's no fear when you speak from the present tense and only speak your truth. I only speak my truth, what I feel is right for me. And when you only speak from your feelings and emotions, there's no anxiety, because anxiety is up here, you know?
So it's the overthinking that's probably the first step towards your anxiety kicking in.
Yeah, it's all the overthinking. You get caught up in these stories within your head, regrets that went on in the past. You take them, you put them into the future, you assume that they're going to go wrong again, and then you come back into the present. So you don't do it. You literally are frozen in space with this overthinking mind. So bringing everything into the body, into the feelings and emotions, and understanding an awful lot more about our feelings and emotions is key to freeing you from anxiety.
Yeah, and we do that, don't we? I mean, I probably still am guilty of it in a sense where you create a false reality in your head, and then you end up doing the situation you were so anxious or nervous or stressed about, and then you get to the end of it and all those thoughts you had created in your mind never actually occurred, and then you think, why did I spend a day or a week or hours so consumed by all this angst or fear?
It is procrastination. So many people with anxiety have procrastination because they're building it up in their head. They're assuming it's going to go wrong, so they don't actually do it, or they end up pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down and keep on pushing it down along the line until they don't do it, or it gets so built up with the amount of things that they have to do that they get more anxious about that, and that kind of causes more anxiety and stress and panic attacks and people thinking that they're having heart attacks, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm laughing because I've been that person where I feel a twinge and I go to worst case scenario immediately.
100%.
And then you realize, actually, I've survived this feeling before. It's not what you think it is. But your mind just has such a way to just make you believe something that you know logically isn't true, but it's that other part of your mind that's like, yeah, but this might be the time, and I can't seem to get rid of that part.
Well, you see, we live in the thinking mind, and in thinking mind is where all these decisions and these thoughts come from. That's where we think we need to live. But we need to live in the feelings. We need to learn how to step into our body, into our feelings and emotions, and learn to express from here. Because when you express from here, you take this out. And as I say, the thinking mind is the filter that we've put it in our childhood, where it protects us from feeling whatever's going on in our world. So we bring in the thinking mind. And when we bring in the filter, that's where it all gets taken out of the loop. So take the filter out. And I mean, one of the big things, very easy thing to do, is stop saying I think and say I feel with everything. And that is the quickest and fastest way to get in here. Now, I understand that getting into your feelings and emotions is another layer altogether, because most people don't know how to feel their feelings, and they don't know how to express their emotions. Or most people don't know the difference between a feeling and an emotion. And a feeling is how you feel it in your body. An emotion is the story we attach onto that feeling. So most of us have the wrong emotions attached onto that feeling. They might feel angry. The emotion might be they're angry at something that's going on, but they might not feel anger in their body. I mean, do you know where you feel anxiety in your body?
Mine's right here all the time, like right there.
You feel anxiety in your knees.
My knees, not really. Well, my legs go heavy sometimes, yeah.
You know that itchy kind of niggly feeling you get in your knees? That's kind of where anxiety is starting. Sometimes people feel it in their knees, and then that's it starting. So if you can catch it there and actually understand what you go, okay, what am I anxious at here, you know? I mean, that's another thing. So many people say, I have anxiety or I am anxiety. You don't have or am anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel anxious. Do you know, that's not who you are. My name is Shane. My name is not anxious or anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, it's so important, the words that we use.
You brought up something there before about anger, and it was a couple of days ago, actually, I was feeling angry, but I had no reason to be angry. It was more of a body sensation which led to the mind. And I was trying to figure out myself, like, why am I angry? Nothing's annoyed me, nothing to be angry about, but for some reason I feel angry. I still don't know why that was a feeling I was having in that moment.
But I mean, feeling only lasts 90 seconds in the body. But when we take the feeling into the thinking mind, we get caught up in the pattern of that thinking mind. So just because you were feeling angry doesn't mean you actually have to figure out the why. Because it could be anything, and it's just to allow the feeling to happen in your body. Allow yourself to feel anger, and acknowledge that you feel angry, and actually just let it. Feelings and emotions are there to be expressed. And even though you might not know why the anger is coming up, if you allow yourself to actually feel the anger, let it feel through your body, express it as anger, even if you don't know what it is, just actually say, geez, I'm angry. And even if it's, I'm angry, I don't know why, but that's okay. Then it's gone. But when you bring it into the thinking mind, you go, why am I angry? Why, geez, I don't know. There was nothing happened here that made me angry. So why am I angry? Jeez, I must try and figure that out. Oh, I'll think back to that. So sometimes maybe you're bringing in the thinking mind to distract yourself away from why you're angry, because you don't want to actually acknowledge to yourself, why am I angry? So if you let yourself feel it, you might have actually come up with the conclusion faster than thinking the why. You know? Maybe the next time something like that happens, actually acknowledge that you feel angry, and actually say it's okay to feel angry, and it's okay to express, I feel angry, I don't know why, and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I'm always trying to figure it out. That's probably where I get myself into a hole, maybe sometimes, is I'm always analysing, or I have to have the answer to why I feel like this.
Why? We always want to know the why. We want to know why this happens or why that. And that's the world we live in. We live in the thinking world these days, social media, television, so many different things in our life that actually create us to actually be thinking all the time, like, rather than actually feeling, you know? So that's why I feel that the key to everything is in the feelings. Because the thinking mind is everything, like, you know?
Yeah, and do you think social media has a huge impact on anxiety these days as well? Yeah.
But people think that they're distracting themselves from the anxious feeling by watching something on TikTok or looking at somebody, how do we fix it, or something like that. rather than actually stopping and sitting with it. You know, I say to a lot of clients, I say, how long could you sit with you? And most people come back with me about a minute is the longest they could actually sit with no mobile phone distracting them, no televisions, literally sit in a room on your own with no distractions. How long could you sit? Most people say 30 seconds to a minute. And most of those people are people in the ages of probably like 18 to 50. So it's not like you can say it's a certain age group or something like that that would struggle with it. But I mean, I always say that the person you should be most comfortable with in your life is you. You spend more time with you than you spend with anyone else on the planet. So if you're not comfortable with you, there's something wrong. If you can't sit an hour, 2 hours even, you know, you see it, you go to the doctor's surgery and they're all sitting around, they're looking on their phone, or you see them on the trains and you see them on the buses and they're all doing that. What they should be doing is pull down. God forbid they might actually talk to the person there. Hello, how are you? You know, God forbid. Or just sit with what's coming up, being aware of what's going on for you. I mean, when is the last time you see somebody on a train or on a bus or something like that, or in a waiting room, or you see people, they're in a restaurant with their wives or their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whatever. As soon as they go to the toilet.
Yeah, it is.
So it might not necessarily be social media, it's the phones that people are distracting themselves from what? If you're sitting with your partner, you're sitting with your whoever, and you're in a restaurant and they go to the toilet, you should be able to just sit and go, this is going well. Oh, I think I actually might have said something there earlier on. Yeah, that's not a good thing to say. Oh, I'm going to apologize for that. Instead, you don't have the space to even think about things. And then the person goes back to the table and then you say, geez, I saw a very good TikTok reel there while ago. That's great. Like, and that's how the conversation goes into that time. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's boredom.
Distraction, boredom. I don't have a television. I haven't watched a television in years in my life. And people always say to me, what do you do with your life? Folks, this is what I do with my life. I live. I live my life through this. I understand about me. You know, I always say, if I'm not working on myself, how do I help my clients to go to the places that they need to go to?
Yeah. If you don't have the answers for yourself, then how can you be confident in giving the answers to someone else? Is basically how you view it.
Exactly. If I don't know where my feelings and emotions have come up, if I don't work on myself, how do I actually turn around to a client and say, oh, you need to work on your anger more, or you need to work on your anxiety, or you need to work on whatever feeling is coming up more? I always believe in being authentic. And this is one of the reasons I specialize in anxiety, is because I've been through it and I'm anxiety free. So I like to be authentic with whatever I actually help my clients with or help people with, is being authentic. It's the same with my social media platforms. I go on, I'm authentic. There's no editing. There's no whatever. I just go on and go, I'm thinking about this today, and I just go on, and that's it. And that authenticness is what people get to, you know, whereas this cuttings and pastings and putting it in with this and putting a certain dance with it and certain music with it and all that sort of stuff. I hear from people, they go, oh, I could spend an hour and a half, 2 hours making a video. And I go, oh, how long do you take doing a video, Shane? Okay, it might take me 2-3 minutes to record it. Might take me a minute or two to post it. So about 7 minutes. You know?
And you're done. Job done. When you say you're anxiety free, do you associate that with you not acknowledging or giving it a name? Do you still have like the feeling, but you don't?
It comes up.
Sit with it.
I deal with it. Anxiety is a normal feeling. People have lost the aspect of the fact that we're allowed to feel anxious. You know, I mean, if you're, let's just say, not this for me anymore, but say if I'm going public speaking, if I'm going to it, I feel anxious, I feel it in my stomach, I feel the adrenaline pumping through my body. It's what actually gets me up on the stage. I feel it still, like, you know, but I feel it in a positive way. I feel it when it's meant to. It was created in us for a reason. I hear more and more people going, oh, my child is anxious, or Johnny's, or whoever's anxious and all that sort of stuff. But anxiety is there as the fuel of life. It gives us that push, that energy to actually do it. It gets you on the stage, it gets you bouncing, you know? It's there for a reason, like. So when I feel it, if it is something negative that's actually coming up and it's not good for me, I sit with the feeling that's coming up. I acknowledge the feeling that's coming up. I see where that feeling and why it's coming up. and I deal with it, and that's it. So anxiety is part of life, folks. We have anxiety in us. It's there for a reason. It stops you from walking out the road with a truck, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, because I've read that it was based on fight or flight. You know, it gets you ready to be in action.
It's there. We have to be anxious. You have to be scared of the dinosaurs, like, you know? Except nowadays the dinosaurs are different. Huh?
That's how you get eaten. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen on your, is it AFM coaching, 7 years experience you have with your clients on that industry.
I'm over 10 years experience now at this stage. I'm back to
Over
college
10
at 40.
years.
I'm 55 now, so I would have qualified at 45. So I've 10 years experience now working as a therapist. You know, actually longer when you think about it. It's within college, you have to do 100 hours. So there's that aspect of it as well.
Okay, so you're a pro.
I'm a pro, yeah.
And with those thousands of people, do you find there's more of a demographic, or say gender-wise, is it more male or female, or is there a certain age group that you tend to see come in more?
It's becoming more male, thank God. I'm happier with that. I'm at about 70% male now at the moment. And age groups is literally anything from 20 right up to 60, 70 years of age. There is no area of it. And it's not all anxiety that comes in as well. Like, I deal with stress, I deal with trauma, depression, ADHD, autism, everything. But everything for me comes from the present. It comes from the here and now. But I specialize primarily in anxiety. And even all those different diagnoses of people come in, anxiety is linked in, everything is linked in with one or the other. It's all intertwined. Mental health, everything is all intertwined. You know, anxiety, like people might come to me with OCD, that's anxiety. You know? Yeah. OCD is brought in as a distraction away from feeling your feelings in the present tense. And that's why we bring in this obsessive compulsive aspect of things. Obsessive compulsive thoughts is another distraction away from our feelings and emotions. It's all linked. People come to me for one thing and we go down lots of different rabbit holes of ways. Like, they might come for anxiety, then suddenly they have OCD, they have procrastination, they have so many other things that are actually going on in their lives that might be officially diagnosed or unofficially diagnosed.
That's the thing. It does come, one mental health situation or struggle normally comes with a bag. You know, it's never normally one thing.
No. And that's one of the issues that I have at the moment with society, is that when we label with just one, then the other person mightn't actually look at anything else because I have this. It kind of takes it away from it. Like, so people might come in for me with ADHD, or they might come in with me autism or something on the spectrum. And it's like, oh, we don't need to look at anxiety. I have this. This is what I need help with. And I go, well, no, it's all linked in. It's all part of the same package. We need to look at everything. We need to understand how to level you out. We need to, whatever's actually going on. And like, it's everybody, in my opinion, in the whole world struggles with anxiety. So anyone that actually tells you that they don't struggle with anxiety, I mean, they're lying, because they're lying to themselves, because everybody has these obsessive compulsive thoughts of constantly caught up in anything. And usually when somebody comes into me for one thing, and we might be working with each other 3 or 4 months, and suddenly we start talking and they suddenly go, geez, I do have anxiety, actually, because I've lived with it all my life. And I suppose for me, like, I was in my 30s before I figured out that I had anxiety, actually maybe late 20s. And I just thought everybody in the world felt the same way as I did. That every single person on the planet felt the same way. I didn't realize that what was blocking me from doing the things that I wanted to do in life was actually anxiety. I just didn't know. Like, I genuinely didn't know. And this is another thing, we need to educate people on what they're feeling is not normal. That they should be feeling it. Because I read a book and I went, oh, well, that's me. I have that. Oh, that's not normal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're doing this now. Then I was like, what do I do with this? Where do I go? How do I fix this? What do I need to do? So I was like, oh. And then someone started talking to me and said, geez, I go to a counsellor. And I go, what's that? Generally, counselling psychotherapy wasn't in my radar. You know, when I was finishing school in 87, counselling psychotherapy wasn't even thought of as a career or anything like that, where, especially in Ireland, where I see counselling psychotherapy very, very new to the world. Like, I mean, it wouldn't have been in my world at all in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
Then I went to a counsellor and we started working with me, and I was like going, oh, geez, I feel better now that I'm not overthinking or in that. I mean, at 23 years of age, I had the opportunity to go to Australia, but I was more worried about what people would think about me in Australia. Bad, like, you know? That stopped me from going to Australia. So I just thought that this was normal. Like I was looking at my friends and going, how are you able to go to Australia? And I didn't vocalize this, but in my head I was going, how are you able to do that? Are you not worried about what people think about you when you get out there?
No,
I mean, that's the other.
I can relate with it.
Yeah, we get caught up in so many different stories within our heads, and we block ourselves out from so much, and we make lots of assumptions based on things. I mean, how many times I've had clients and myself who are fully fledged that this happened, 100% happened, that something happened, or that someone was thinking negative about you, and then suddenly you built up in their picture that they don't like you, and then when you meet them, you're like, whatever, like, feck off, like, I mean, because you believe that they don't like you. Do you know? When
Yeah.
they do like you, but you don't give them the opportunity to like you because you think that they don't like you.
Yeah. You've already made the decision for them.
But
they don't know.
Made up your mind. That's it, done. No, not interested in you. You don't like me.
Yeah. So this ain't going to happen.
It happens a lot. Like, definitely for me in my world. I'd hear of people. I remember a client years ago, and he actually got into a fight inside in the bar because when he was inside the bar, this fella kept on looking at him. And whatever way he was looking at him, he didn't like him. And he really didn't like him. And he actually hated him. And he went over and he actually pushed him and he said, what's your problem with me? Why don't you like me? What's going on here? Like, I mean, why don't you like me? Why are you staring at me like that? And he looked at him and he went, I don't know what you're talking about. So your man was just staring at his face, I
don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Yeah.
I don't know who you are. We're not like you and I don't know who you are, like,
Yeah, yeah. And when it came to your anxiety, I'm interested to find out, how long did it take you before you felt you were anxiety free?
Anxiety free really has, I feel that it's really only in the last maybe 5-6 years that I can actually generally say that I'm anxiety free because, a lot of the work I would have been doing on myself, it's not a quick fix. I can get you to a certain space quite quickly, but then getting into that in-depth parts, those feelings, those emotions, how we're attached to it. So it's constant work on myself. It's constantly working on myself. It's constantly becoming aware of myself. It's giving that confidence, that belief, that truth, trusting that I know exactly what is right for me all the time. All the time, I know what's right for me, and this feeling or whatever's coming up is right for me. So it's really only in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years that I can actually put up my hand and say I'm anxiety free. But as you said there, like, I mean, it's still, the feeling's still coming up. It's just how I deal with it now is differently.
And do you think now, because of the day and age we live in, everyone's after a quick fix? They don't have maybe the necessarily the time, or they don't think they have the time to sit down and go through the process of it all to progress. Everyone just wants it. I want it now. I want to be fixed now.
You're dealing with your feelings and emotions. You're dealing with your traumas. I mean, if you think about a year, let's just say we're in 2025 at the moment, you think about the things that happened to you this year, just mentally, different griefs, different friends that are not friends anymore, all those things that might have happened to you for 2025. We're in November now. If you think back to the last 10 months and actually become aware of the different things that happened to you, the different things that affected your feelings and your emotions and stuff like that, the stuff that you didn't know how to process and stuff like that, well, then multiply that by, depending on what age you are, there's a lot of stuff to process. There's a lot of stuff to understand. There's a lot of feelings and emotions to come up that you have to deal with. So the quick fixes, the aspects of quick fixes, I'm still a work in progress. But I now know the feelings and emotions that are coming up. I now know the labels, the emotions that I put to it, and I can go, okay, I know what's coming up here. I know why this is coming up here. So that's okay. I'm not worried about that anymore. So you can't, AI, anything like that is not going to fix this overnight, because it's, again, you can only work with your pace. But if you work too fast, people get overwhelmed as well and they get anxious. So if someone said to me, oh, Shane, why don't we, I remember someone saying to me one day, why don't we do sessions every day, Shane? We'll do a session every day and I'll get there faster. I go, no, you have to process. The reason it's 1 week to another week is that you need a full week to process. Because if you think about the things that you do, so let's just say you have a session on a Wednesday, you're working that day, you're working Thursday, you're working Friday, then weekends you spend time with your family. So by the time you actually come around to the second session, you haven't even given yourself the space to sit with it, to fix it, to work on what you need to work on. I mean, I suppose if somebody was off for a month, I did a session every day for a month, maybe we could move faster. But our body isn't designed to work faster. Our body, or Mate talks an awful lot about how much we need to take a breath and we need to slow down our body. And there's a process for everything. Now, I'm not going to say that if you come to me and you say, Shane, I have anxiety for the last 30 years. I'm not going to say it's going to take 30 years to free you from anxiety. I will free you in a lot shorter time than that. It's not going to take 15 either. But I mean, a lot of people feel a relief, feel that they have a bit of, say, severe case of anxiety. 4 to 6 sessions, they feel a relief and they start feeling a little bit more grounded and they feel a little bit more present with themselves and a little bit more understanding of what's going on. So I can help you to get from severe anxiety to be less anxiety in 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really quick turnaround. But I guess it's all, you have tools or a method or a process that you teach.
I'm very honest. I talk sometimes an awful lot more than the client inside the session. I go straight, direct. It's no bullshit. I just literally, if you came into me as a client, I talk directly to it. In traditional therapy, they talk about you have to wait for the client to come to their realization of what is going on for them. I don't wait for that. If I see something in the room, if I see a pattern in you that is not helping you, I call it in the room. So that makes it go a lot faster rather than waiting for you to know what's happening to you.
I spent a lot of time trying to sit with myself and be comfortable with it. And it's only recently now that I've been sober, and this whole year, I don't think I've ever cried so much in my life, to be honest. Everything I suppressed for so long, I'm now starting to work through. I did that big box I didn't ever want to open and I was running from. Now it's something I'm slowly going through, and every day there's some tears. For me, it feels healthy. I feel like I'm growing through it as well, and I'm changing as a person, which is the main thing.
That's what we all need to do, Cameron. We all need to learn to sit with ourselves, learn to let those feelings and emotions come up. We're all running away from ourselves. We're all running away from our own feelings and emotions. We're running away from that grief, that sadness. And I do understand that some of it can be very hard. You know, if you've lost your parents or if something like that, there's a lot of heavy, dark, hard energies to work through with sadnesses and whatever's coming up. But we have to do it, because when people come to me in crisis with anxiety, they're coming to me because they've just pushed it, ran away. I'd prefer not to be working with clients when they're in crisis, but most people come to me in crisis.
That's me. That was me exactly. I've got nowhere else to go. I don't know what else to do. This is make or break kind of for me. That's to the point where I was, but I'm so happy I've done it.
But we need to learn, learn our feelings and emotions, learn what's coming up, slow down, stop, as you said, take a break, unpack what's coming up, allow whatever feelings are coming up to come up. And for some people, and I would imagine that's what you've noticed, Cameron, over the last year, is you don't know what you're crying about. You don't know what you're releasing. And that's okay. You're just releasing. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, in an ideal world, when it happens, you release it and then you move on. But if there's stuff that you haven't expressed in the past, it's okay to let it come up. Even most people kind of, when they sit with themselves and they notice a lot of sadness or they're getting upset coming up for them, they start stepping into that. Why? What's going on here? Why am I crying? What am I crying about? It doesn't matter, folks. It's just as long as you're releasing, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it literally happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I was making my bed, just making my bed, and then I had this overwhelming feeling of, I want to cry. And I was like, I don't even know why I want to cry. I'm making my bed. Why do I feel like I want to cry right now? And I just continued making my bed. I'm not crying now. This isn't the time to cry. It was mad. It's like a big cloak, it came over me. It was just, I just want to cry. And I don't know why I want to cry. And that's what I seem to be dealing with every now and then. It comes over me, and I'm like, I really want to cry, and I don't know why I want to cry, because again, there's nothing that I've thought about or that's happened right now that's making me want to cry, but my body wants to release something. I'm trying to figure it all out still. Myself again. It's like it's relearning yourself.
Look, Bruce Lipton would talk a lot about the fact that all the cells in your body change overnight. So we're all brand new people the next day, regardless. We don't have a choice. So it's who I am today and who I am tomorrow could be vastly different. Or there's always a subtle something. So I always aim to change by 1% every day. So something in me today will change tomorrow. And that's what human nature is. We've got very caught up in human nature, into the believing that, oh, I'm like this now, I'm happy with being who I am now. But no, there's always something, there's always a little bit of something to do for ourselves, a little bit more work to do on ourselves. Always. For the rest of my life, there will always be something to do. And that's the great thing about being human. And that's what sets us apart from all the mammals, that we feel our feelings and emotions. We express ourselves. We're allowed to express ourselves. And we might be complex, but we're not as complex as we think we are. Because when we express for whatever reason, that's okay, lad.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to take you back to, I just thought of it now, the filter. You said it's good to take away your filter, but I guess in certain situations it's still good to have a filter, right? You shouldn't remove the filter completely.
No. But understanding that it's a filter is key. Understanding that when you get caught up in the thoughts, that it's a filter, so it's there. Some thoughts are there to be processed. I'm not excluding the brain out of your thought. It's there. It's a fantastic organ. It's there to help or to filter some things that we would find completely overwhelming in the present. But all I'm saying to people is, most people live at least 90% of their life in the thinking mind, whereas what you should actually be doing is living 90% in the body and 10% up here. You know? And when
how do you do that? How do you live in the body?
You have to work on it. You have to step into feelings. You have to understand. What I do, one of the very simple technique to start the process of this is that when someone asks you a question, you take a breath, you become aware of what's happening in your body, and you answer from here. An example would be a client who had constant overthinking, constantly worried about what other people would think, got herself into such a stress because she couldn't say no to any jobs inside work, where she was just doing and of course everybody was coming in and giving her jobs because she could never say no, so she was go, do. And I actually started to get her to start taking a breath, become aware of what's going on in her body, and when she stepped into her body, there was chaos, just stress, anxiety, just so churning horribleness. And when she felt it, she said no. But when she thought it, the thinking mind was, I can't say no, they won't like me anymore, they're going to fire me, they don't think I'm good enough. All that was going on there. But when she felt it, she felt chaos. And you can't say no, you can't say, you have to, when you answer from here, it's like, oh no, I'm too busy, I can't do this. And you do it. And you just, and it's yearning. So it's taking that breath, become aware of what's happening in the body. And you can do that in a breath. This doesn't have to be, folks, this isn't going to be you going around to everybody. And when someone says, hi Shane, would you be able to do this for me? And me going, no, this is, hi Shane, can you do this for me? Yeah, no, yeah, I can do that for you. Yeah, no problem. Or no, that doesn't suit me. Just to literally, nobody will notice. It will just literally be intake like a normal breath, but just a little bit deeper. And then you will become aware in seconds. But it takes time to train the body for that breath. So it takes work. It takes work to learn how to step into the body and feel it. The first bit of work you have to do is understand what you're feeling at the moment and express and release what's there. Because what's here for me now is just complete calmness, understanding, believing, expressing. There's nothing negative there. I know that even the filter that I might have had in my body, which was all the unexpressed feelings and emotions, is gone. So now when I listen to me, I'm always right. Yeah. Always. Can't be wrong when you listen to you. One of the amazing world we live in, where whatever we're on the population is now at this stage, if we could all just express from here and not take anything personal is the big thing. Because if I say something to you and I'm feeling this way and you go, what are you trying to say to me? Are you trying to say that it's all my fault that I'm a me? No. I'm actually just telling you how I'm feeling. So many people get caught up in taking it personal aspect of things. When you express yourself and they suddenly go, I'm going, no, just telling you how I feel. Nothing to do with you. You know? Yeah. We're not, as human beings, we're not supposed to get on with each other, folks. We don't have to get on with each other. It's just not meant to be, you know? If you can express yourself from here and the other person doesn't take it personal, you don't have a problem, you know?
I think that's the thing, isn't it? People, if you express yourself or you don't stand in line with their thoughts, or you have a different view of a situation, then all of a sudden you become an enemy to that person. And it's not necessarily saying they're wrong. It's just saying I look at it or view it a little bit differently. That's just how I see it. And if you feel like you can't express yourself, because sometimes growing up, that's where I found myself, I'd express myself and then people would then think that I'm now trying to argue with you, or I'm trying to be argumentative or cause something. I just disagree with how you see it. That's it. And I'm just telling you how my feelings. But it used to get me into trouble, I suppose.
You learn to suppress those feelings. You learn that it's easier not to say something because you don't want to upset other people. So that's where the pattern you learned, where I don't express myself. I don't tell somebody how I feel. I always say to people, a great power comes in expressing yourself with I feel. Because when you say to most people, I feel upset with what you just said to me, they will go, oh, I upset you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Well, they go into defensive straight away because they're taking it personal. But all you're doing is saying, I feel really upset. When you said that to me, I feel really upset by it. Because once you put the I feel word instead of the I think, it always baffles me when people say, I think I feel angry. And I go, how do you think you feel angry? You're either feeling angry or you're not. And then again, that's that filter. I think I feel angry. So you actually, where you're going in your body there is the anger is happening in your body. You're bringing it up into the I think, and then you're bringing it back down there. So by the time it actually goes back down there, it's not as powerful as it was. So I think I feel anxious. So already you're bringing in a filter where you're not actually really feeling what you're feeling.
Do you then think if someone feels a certain way based on how another person has acted, whose responsibility is it for the way that person is feeling? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I suppose the responsibility is on the person who's suddenly, like if I say to you, I feel sad by what you said, and then if you step into taking it personal in your head and the overthinking mind is going into your head that you're taking it personal, and then you're feeling what you're feeling, it's on you because you're taking it personal. It's on whoever's taking it personal,
Okay, what if I turned around and said I'm sorry that you feel that way, but that wasn't I didn't want to make you feel sad. Would it then be an emotion for them to process?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, all I'm doing is telling you how I'm feeling, and mine could be coming from, if you say something to me and I say I feel really upset by it, I don't know where this is coming from. This is what I would say. I don't know where this is coming from, but obviously it feels quite old. I feel that this might be coming from my childhood, so it's not your fault. It's just something that's coming up for me. Or it might be, I feel really upset by what you're saying to me, Cameron, because this is my value. This is what I feel. I feel really strongly about this. And when you're saying that you don't agree with this value, it makes me feel really sad. Again, that's, in a way, it's what I said at the start of this conversation. We need to educate people on how to express themselves and what words to say. So sometimes people might say, I feel really angry and upset by what you just said there, right? And you go, oh, geez, yeah, well, geez, I was only expressing what I was going to say. Whereas I might say, I feel really angry and upset by what you said there because I value my opinion on this. And what you're saying is actually really upsetting me. And it's just my values that you're actually affecting. And then you might go, oh, well, I don't agree with you. And that's fine. That's grand. But I feel upset and angry. So we need to explain our feelings and emotions more rather than just going into the easy reactive ones. That's just, I feel angry. That's it. We don't explain why you're feeling angry. That's part of the process of learning how to express ourselves, to actually go into detail of, I feel angry because when you said this made this feel inside me, and I feel like this because of that thing you said to me before in the past, and that's why I'm feeling this anger now. And then the other person might go, oh, okay, well, that's not my fault.
So first of all, it's working through how you're feeling, working through the emotion, and then learning how to express or communicate that emotion in a way that
100%.
People can understand it.
And as time goes on, that expression for me, the more I understand what I'm saying, I don't have to step into something elaborate. I might actually just say, I'm feeling upset by what you said, Cameron, because when you said that about my friend, I feel that they're not like that, and this is how I feel about them. So I kind of am able to answer the question a lot faster, rather than when you're starting to learn, and I suppose this would happen in the therapy room, is when you're starting to learn what's coming up. You might actually notice, I feel angry, but you don't know anything else other than that. That's the only feeling that you don't know why, you don't know anything. So it takes practice to learn why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and to be able to express why you're feeling it. You know? And I suppose the other person should be okay with, if you say something to me and I say, I feel angry what you say, Cameron, and you might go, well, why? And I say, well, actually, I don't know why at the moment. Can I come back to you?
Yeah.
You know? And the other person should be okay with that. Whereas the other person is more likely going to go, no, you need to tell me now. Tell me now why I'm angry. Why did you make me angry now? And you're going, you know?
Yeah. I need to figure it out.
Exactly. Give me space to figure out why I'm angry.
I find it's a tough one to, because the way I'm interpreting it, it means that the other person needs to be emotionally intelligent or regulated enough to be in that process with you, or you need to be strong enough within yourself to understand that the other person might not be able to reciprocate in a way that you want, but you need to then hold yourself firm in how you're feeling or how you're communicating.
Exactly. You know,
yeah.
Most people do struggle with how do they express their feelings and emotions. Most people don't know how to express their feelings and emotions, and I understand that. And if I'm talking to somebody and I know that they're not great with expressing themselves, I might hold back a little bit on what I'm expressing, and I become aware of how I can articulate that. Now, look, I'm a therapist. I'm a seasoned therapist, and I know I can sense, I can pick up on your feelings and emotions an awful lot more. I'm quite empathic to other people's feelings and emotions. If I'm sitting with someone, or sometimes if I'm meeting people, I might actually go, I feel anger from them, whereas they're like, oh, grand. Like most people come into my room and they go, how are you? How are you getting on? And they go, oh yeah, all good. And I go, are you? No, actually, I'm sensing a lot of sadness. And they go, oh. So I suppose it's just becoming more intuitive with yourself, intuitive with whom you're talking to, if they've done the work on themselves with their feelings and emotions. But I suppose the key to educating other people on their feelings and emotions is you expressing your feelings and emotions, and them having to sit with what's coming up for them. And that's why a chain of events could happen in the whole world if we could just all express our true feelings and emotions. If somebody's upsetting you, or if someone is doing something that you don't agree with, and you don't tell them why, because you're worried that you're going to upset them, how are they going to learn if you don't tell them?
You're absolutely right. My girlfriend was a big influence in me learning how to deal with my emotions or express myself a bit more, because she likes to talk about it and she likes to express her emotions and talk to me about what upsets her. And she would always ask me to open up, and me being a typical, I suppose, man, if you want to say, I don't want to talk about it, leave me alone, I'll figure it out. And she used to poke at me a lot, and I understand now it's not poking. At the time I thought it was poking, but she just wanted for me to understand myself and for her to understand me. Like, what are you going through? Why do you feel like that? And I used to think, leave me alone, like, I'll figure it out, I don't need to talk about it, I've been through this before. But it doesn't mean just because I went through it before that it was the right way or it was working. It was just what I was used to, clamming, not wanting to express myself, and for, I think, fear of judgment or embarrassment or shame.
And I mean, you said something interesting at the start of that conversation where you said, and this is one of my passions, especially around men, is saying things like, oh, I'm a typical man. There's no such thing as a typical man, by the way. We're all different, we're all unique, we're all individual. Yeah. But we're in society, in a way, what we're doing is we're allowing men to get away without talking about their feelings and emotions by saying things like that. Sure, him, he's like a brick wall. He never talks about his feelings and emotions. Or, him, he's a typical man. He doesn't talk about his feelings and emotions. Whereas I'm just actually calling bullshit on this, folks. I really am now, Cameron. I'm really calling bullshit on this, because the more we allow men to step into, sure, I don't have to talk about my feelings, I'm a brick wall. I don't have to talk about my feelings, sure, this is the way I am. The more men are not expressing their feelings and emotions, and the more issues that we're having where the percentages of men committing suicide is higher than any other than females at this stage, like, because men are being allowed to be unexpressive because we're just men, you know. But we have to learn to express ourselves. Within ourselves, there's a feminine and a masculine. Inside a woman, there's a feminine and a masculine. We were created this way for a reason. And in a way, because of the way society is, men don't want to step into the feminine because they don't want to be seen as being gay or anything like that, because they don't want to be seen different or less masculine or less a man. Whereas, as you said there, Cameron, for the last year, you've noticed a lot of emotions coming up. You're crying and stuff like that. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be, if something goes wrong or something happens, we should be able to cry. We should be able to say how we're feeling rather than hiding behind this veil, this wall of that's the way men are.
Yeah, and I'm not embarrassed anymore to say that I've been crying, or that I do cry, or that I've shed many tears this year. Whereas before, I would never have admitted that.
Yeah, me too. I'm bear in mind, I'm not putting myself up here as a poster boy. I'm not actually saying that. For a long time, I'm 55. 54. I'll be 55 soon. Years of age, and for the first 3-4 decades, I was shocking. I never expressed myself. I remember when my grandmother died, I was there. I had to be the strong one. I had to be the oldest, and I didn't cry. And I was like, oh, I'm the strong one. And people were coming up to me going, fair just to you, Shane, you're holding it together. You're not crying. You're not getting upset. You're there to protect your family. Whereas no, this was my grandmother that I lived with all my life. I should have been allowed for myself to cry, to get upset, to grieve the loss of my grandmother, rather than me going, oh no, I'm a man, I can't do this, you know?
Yeah.
So I've processed it now, but I processed it like 20 years later rather than processing it in the time, you know?
Yeah.
So we should actually celebrate when men cry or get upset or express themselves rather than making excuses for them.
Yeah, and I think it is important that men are allowed to express themselves, because I think if men don't, that's what then leads it to finding alternative ways to suppress it or to escape yourself. And that's when you have the alcohol issues or the drug issues or mental health issues, or even workaholics, working yourself into the ground, or you find another outlet to not think about. You go into a bar and you don't see loads of old women in the bar, do you? It's normally always old men in the bar, and it just sort of paints a picture for yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, I know what alcohol used to be for me when I was younger. Alcohol was a way for me to express myself. It was a way that it took down the filters. It took down all those filters where you could literally be more comfortable. You could chat up a woman because you weren't worried. You weren't in your head. You weren't worried what she was thinking about you or any of that sort of stuff. And that's where alcoholism and addictions and, definitely alcoholism and addicted to drugs, that's where these things come from. Because so many people say to me, oh, geez, when I'm drunk, you should meet me when I'm drunk, Shane. I'm fantastic. I'm part of the party and all that sort of stuff. I'm rocking it. Everybody loves me when I'm drunk, Whereas when you're not drunk, you then are worrying about what people think of you. And of course, the worst thing about alcohol is the next day you're beating yourself up because you've huge regrets about the things that you did when you were drunk. Even though when you were drunk, you were so happy you were doing it. So then you're caught up with 4 or 5 days of beating yourself up, going, oh, I can't believe I said that to him. I can't believe I told him that I cried, and I get upset. Oh my God, I have such regrets. I shouldn't have done that. And then by the time the weekend comes around, you go, oh, I'm going to have another few drinks now to get away from that pain of those things that I said. And that's how the cycle starts. That's where addiction comes in and stuff like that because of it. Whereas now Shane Murphy is authentically him, and who you meet on this podcast, who you meet as a therapist, who you meet as whoever in life is authentically who I am. I don't have to hide anymore. I don't need alcohol or any addiction anymore to hide behind,
Yeah. And I used to always say that as well. Like any sort of addiction was just short-term joy to hide long-term pain. And I think that's kind of where everyone is when they become addicted to a substance or some form of escapism. And that, it doesn't necessarily have to be drugs or alcohol. Like I said there, it could be work, or it can be a hobby even sometimes. It doesn't necessarily always have to be destructive, but I feel like you said at the beginning, it is important to sit with yourself or learn to sit with yourself again. And I try and do that in my day to day now, like you said in the train. Like when I get a train or if I get a bus, I try and sit without my phone and just take, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes on the train, surely I can do 10 or 15 minutes without my phone in my hand. I must be able to. I used to when I was a kid. I didn't have a phone then. I sat in the back of the car watching raindrops fall down the window. You're trying to practice that again, that your brain doesn't always need to be switched on or be occupied. And I think the art of doing nothing needs to be encouraged again, that it's okay to be still.
Yeah. And a really important part, just about what you just said there, was that the words we use on ourselves are so important as well. You use the word try there 7 times in what you just said there. Whereas you didn't try to do anything.
Did
you were
I?
doing it. So,
yeah.
I'm very observant. And you used the word think 5 times, but, try is always an interesting one for me, because I believe that the word try should only be used in one time in life, and that should be when you score a try in rugby. Any other time, you shouldn't use the word try at all. Because when you're talking about you being on the train and you were being present and you were not on your phone and you were sitting with your feelings and emotions, that's what you were doing. So if you were to say, when I'm on a train, I sit with my feelings and emotions and I sit with what's going on for me. Whereas what you said was, I try to sit with my feelings and emotions. But it's a totally different energy within yourself. It's a totally different feeling within yourself when you say, I sit with my feelings and emotions and I am present when I'm on the train. Totally different to saying, I try to sit with my feelings and emotions. You're actually telling yourself, go on.
I think it's modesty. I think it's I think it's me not wanting to gloat. Is gloat the right word? I don't want to preach.
Yeah, I understand. You don't want the world to know that you're actually very good at sitting with your feelings and emotions, and you prefer the world to know that you're still a man and you don't sit with your feelings and emotions, but you try to.
Maybe that's exactly what I'm thinking subconsciously. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't like you, Shane. I don't like how you're in my head and how you're counting my words. But that is probably it. That is it. Yeah, I would say.
I don't want to be a sissy, or I don't want to be somebody who actually just sits with their feelings and emotions and becomes aware of it. So next time, folks, you see Cameron on the train, he's not got his phone in his hand. He's more than likely expressing and feeling his feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm. And you can give me a round of applause.
Frozen again. There you go. The signal is gone.
And that's a wrap. Part 1 done. As you heard Shane there, the signal went mid-recording due to the storm on Ireland, we think. I mean, maybe it was a sign that this would be the end of part 1, or maybe not. Who knows? Here's a quick recap. Living in the present is crucial for overcoming anxiety. Feelings and emotions get mixed up, but understanding the difference matters. Social media can pull us away from real self-reflection. The language we use shapes our reality. Speaking in the present tense can empower us. Challenging societal norms around masculinity is vital for men's mental health. Self-awareness and emotional processing are essential for healing. Make sure to follow so you'll be notified when part 2 drops. You can also find the podcast on social media at TOMU Podcast. It costs nothing and it genuinely helps the show grow. If you think this episode could help someone, please share it with them. The whole aim here is to help people feel a little less alone. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week, you wonderful people. And don't forget to give me a round of applause next time you see me. And remember, be good to yourself.